We're gonna start off today with a bit of a tutorial on how I actually make my Decoden glue. There's only a few tutorials out there I've found for making Decoden whip, so I figured I would do a video on how I make it and what I use, because I do it a bit different from everything I've seen. You're going to want to start with a container to mix your silicone in. You can try and mix it inside of your bag, but that's messy, it's a pain in the butt, and I've done that enough times now to know that's not going to work really well. Always a good idea to have a wet cloth handy. I do not have a wet cloth, I have a couple dry cloths. You're going to want your dye. You can either use mica powder, that's what most people use, and that's because if you use a gel or a liquid dye, if you put too much in, it's either going to seize or it's going to come out way too runny. I have not had it seize, I've just had it come out really runny. But I actually do use food coloring, and part of the reason is because I do use different products from what most people use for this. So in general, when people make silicone whip, they use EE Advanced Silicone 2. And I don't. I actually use, grabbed it. I use this stuff. This gets all the stuff, and it's because of the acrylic latex that I'm able to use food dye. And I don't use the liquid food dye, I use the Wilton gel stuff. Here's one of them. And that turns out really pretty. I've actually got a few examples I can grab later to show what exactly that looks like. So, I use that, and to make sure it hardens and it sticks and it's not going anywhere as long as I'm doing an opaque, this is the spackle I use, which helps speed up the dry time quite a bit. Oh, this goes on pink, dries white. This is not what I usually do. Normally I do white. So this is gonna be fun mixing my colors, and I messed up. I didn't pay attention when I grabbed this. This is gonna be a little bit different. See what we're looking at here. We're going a little off the plan here. Whoops. This is pink. We're gonna have to just trust with my opaque colors that they come out the way I want, since I goofed and I got the pink. Normally I do the dry decks without the dry time indicator. So that's what I typically use. I'm actually trying a different formula because I have had a couple of things that I've made fall apart a bit more than I would like to see. Like, you don't want to see them fall apart at all. But I'm still kind of new, and I expect to have one or two mistakes till I get it, like, just down. Well, when my managers bought one of my badge holders, and it fell apart before the night was over on him. And there was contributing factors, but you know, things that he could have done that would have helped preserve it more, but ultimately it didn't hold the way it should have. And that was one of my translucent ones that was also using the DAP Alex translucent. Now, I have in the past used the G Silicone 2 and not had that issue with those badge holders, so I think for translucent I'm gonna need to stick to the GE potentially. But we're also going to give a different formula of DAP stuff. We're gonna try this today. We're gonna mix this in. So we're gonna start with opaque, and then we're gonna play around with translucent. We're gonna mix a bunch of different colors up, and then if I still have time afterwards, we're gonna get into probably doing some badge holders or some jaw clips. I don't think I have anything planned out as far as phone cases right now. I do have one more thing to finish up, and that was I bought new gel colors because I had a few colors that I was missing that I wanted. So I went and grabbed those, and I was getting those open, and then And then I realized what time it was, and it's like, oh, we're running late. I need to get going. So, I'll open these, and I'm just down to the last one. After that, we're gonna go ahead and start mixing and praying, praying around this dang pink stuff. It definitely complicates things a bit. Just a bit. Other supplies a person needs when they're doing Decoden, you're gonna want to have an icing scraper to scrape the icing down towards the tip of your piping bags. You're gonna want tips for your bags. Oh, here. I actually got this at Dollar Tree. Super cheap. You don't need anything fancy. You could use a credit card to push the whip down into the bottom of your piping bag. You're gonna want piping tips with adapters, and the way this works, grab a bag, and we'll do a demonstration on this. People who have never in their life piped anything, which is a lot of people. I hadn't actually piped anything before I started doing this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this part, you're gonna throw it in your bag, you're gonna put it all the way down in the top tip. And this works for both regular sized and for jumbo. You'll need a different adapter for the jumbo size tips. You can get them at bakeries. Occasionally you can find them at Walmart. You might find them at Dollar Tree, but I wouldn't recommend them. They're really low quality. You can of course get them on Amazon or your craft store in the baking section. So take the adapter, really squeeze it in there. You're gonna snip off the tip here, throw on your tip, and screw it, which secures it. Now, far as where the icing goes when you do this, or the whip, you don't want to put it directly in this bag. You're gonna end up with a mess. You're gonna end up having issues when you need to change stuff out, which inevitably you're gonna be changing stuff out. So you set this up, and then you're gonna put your whip in a separate icing bag that you're gonna throw inside this bag. That way you can remove it with ease. It makes cleanup really easy, makes reusing the bags a lot easier. And you have less waste because you can actually store it also. Kind of a big deal. So this is a 16-inch bag. I was using 12-inch bags before and getting frustrated because I was running through my formula so fast. We're going for a 16-inch bag this time. You can get bags in a variety of sizes, or you can get reusable or disposable. Up to you on that. I wanted reusable. At some point I might get frustrated and just go disposable. But you can also find, if you're gonna go disposable, I do recommend going to either a bakery or just hitting up an online retailer for that. You're gonna want tweezers, which is important for placing your charms. It's much easier to use the elbow tweezers. As far as jumbo tips, this is what a jumbo tip looks like. Not everybody works with this size. I did my first case using a jumbo tip the other day. I'm still not sure how I feel about it, but it looks cool. As far as closing up your bags, you got your options. You can use decorating bag ties, or another thing you can use is bag ties, like the little twist ties. You can use those. As far as mixing, you're gonna want a spatula, and you're gonna want an icing spatula, which you can use to scoop your whip into your bag. So we're gonna start scooping stuff in, and oh, you're also gonna need a caulking gun because you are working with caulk. You want an appropriate sized caulking gun. Simple to use. If you don't know how to use them, you can buy them with them already extended like that. You're just gonna grab this bit here, left back. You can snip the tip on most of them right here. You would put the tip of your caulking tube here, pull this, snips the tip, pull up and then you would take the caulk, load it in, push this down, and then squeeze. And when it's time to store, I will show you what I use for storing my caulk and when it's still in tube so I don't lose it there. A lot of people lose that. A lot of people just toss it out. So, better thing. We're gonna start with my old formula because I do have this and it has been really good. So what I have been using and has worked fine for my opaque ones is DAP all-purpose acrylic latex caulk plus silicone. It does not seem to work as well for translucent colors if you get their clear. I've had some problems with that, but for opaques, this has worked really, really good for me. I would also suggest that when you get your spackle, you do not get the stuff that's colored pink that has the dry time indicator. That's going to throw you off when you dye it. We're going to see that today because I messed up and I got the pink. Which is really unfortunate. We're going to pipe a whole bunch of this. Since I have the 16-inch bags, I can fit more in. If you are wanting more vibrant colors out of your whip, I strongly suggest using mica. It does get to be expensive. I am still looking for a retailer that's good for that. If you want black, just buy black caulk, okay? Save yourself the trouble. No, we're just gonna empty this out. I'm gonna go with the color that I realized I haven't really been using, despite the fact it's my favorite color. I have not used a lot of purple. I went through, when I was getting stuff set up on my website, and I looked at all the different colors I had, and it's peach and light blue. Not saying there's anything wrong with those colors, it's just shocking that I didn't use my favorite color as much as I thought. Got what? One case. One case. And one badge holder. So, we'll see. This is done. So after this, we are trying we're trying a different DAP formula. We're gonna see how well this stuff works out. I did talk to the people at Lowe's, explained to them what I'm doing, what I need it to do. We will see how that works. We're gonna start with this. This is the unfortunate mistake. Like I said, you want to get the white stuff. I messed up, got the stuff with the dry indicator. This is also DAP. I like to keep stuff within the same brand family when I do stuff. But yeah, dry deck, spackling. We're gonna scoop a bit. God. This makes me so nervous because it's gonna throw off what the color looks like to me. And you folks too that are watching. Close that up. Alright. And let's gonna go with violet, because we're going for a lavender, which is gonna be interesting, given the pink that's already in here. That really mess with me until it's all the way dry. But that can sometimes be fun too, watching the colors change. One of the things that I was dealing with the DAP Alex Clear is when you pipe it out, it is still opaque. So watching that cure through the week has been a thing in and of itself when I use my translucent. Good. I'm not gonna use a lot So I actually use my my frosting spatula to get a rough measure. That is probably way more than we need for a lavender, but we're gonna go with it. That off. Also, highly suggest you work in a ventilated space. Because yes, this is low odor, but low odor is not no odor. I have been a little too conservative with the purple there. That is too conservative. It's one of the reasons why I've been going with the formula of caulk that I do, so that I can get away with using food coloring. But again, that works best for pastels. It's not gonna work great for if you're wanting something bright or vibrant or dark. Which I learned when I decided I was gonna mix up my black. Came out very, very runny. That should be more like it. And now for the nerve-wracking part of mixing in pink. We got enough of the purple mixed into the actual silicone without the spackle to have an idea of where it's gonna be. Now, it does dry darker. This happened every time. And I don't mind the smell. I mean, I used to dye my hair all the time. I used to go to the nail salon all the time. So, for me, this is... Well, I went to school for cosmetology, so I was around the fumes that they have for perms. And let me tell you, on the one hand, it is great that people don't get perms the way they used to, for many, 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 many reasons. You know, hair health. They have changed the formula, so it's not nearly as bad as it used to be, but I got so used to those fumes, and it's crazy that it has never been a recommended thing to wear a mask when doing permanents or when doing hair dye. You know, like I said, formulas have gotten better. They don't have as much smell. But if you are bleaching your hair or lightening your hair or anything else, it is still gonna smell. They have not figured that one out. It's the peroxide and everything else that goes in it to make it work. Alright, this is set here. We've shown how to put one of these together. We're gonna load up a separate bag, and then we're gonna close it up because I want to get a bunch of colors made today. I ran pretty low. I got purple all over my hand. So, for reference, this is what I've got left of my opaques. Teal, light blue, hot pink, black, and peach. This is a very runny black. It is great for liquid effect. And then I've got my translucent yellow, hot pink, and peach. Really, really ran through everything. Now, first time I opened my royal blue, I spent 3 days. I don't know what I got it on, but I got it on something in my room, and I kept brushing against it wherever it was, and just blue, constantly blue. Could not escape it. Maybe that's part of why so many of my projects since have been blue, is just get this out, I'm mad. You know, you ever worked with a color because you were mad at it? I was mad at blue. I was like, I want this out. And even at that, what did I still have left? I still had a blue left. So we are going to change this formula a little bit because I want glossy. That's what I've been missing so far. I have very, very matte pieces. If you want to see how my stuff has came out so far, I have an Instagram account where I post that stuff at Cute Cake Cases. We are going to go ahead and get this started up. I'm going to use clear Elmer's glue because we are going as frugal as possible. I mean, yes, I do plan on opening a business doing this stuff, but that just makes it even more important. I find stuff that works well, that does not cost me an arm and a leg because I'm going to have to deal with the taxes and, thank God, not payroll. If you're looking for a site to get stuff super, super cheap and you don't mind a longer wait, though, Temu's good. We're gonna pour just a little bit. We're gonna eyeball it. I hope that's enough. Oh, boy. We now have glue all over the hands. We are not gonna, talk about what else that could look like. It on lid. Sometimes I struggle with the most simple things, like getting lids on glue. All the way on. Did I get most of the glue? I did get most of the glue. I decided that. Alright, so we're gonna mix that in. I'm gonna check the consistency afterwards. If it feels thin, we're gonna throw in a bit more spackle. You don't want it too thin, or kind of like piping with warm icing. If it is not have the right stiffness, you are gonna end up with peaks and stuff that don't hold. You're not gonna get the shape that you want. And I know my child's heart broke when they saw that I bought glue and they found out that it was not for making slime. Although this does look like the fluffy slimes of it, doesn't it? A little bit. Doesn't make the noises, though. What are we dealing with here? That might be too thin. Now, there's two ways a person could go about it when it's thin like this. You could wait a bit and let it thicken on its own, because it will thicken over time, even properly sealed up, because it will start drying a bit. Or you can add more spackle. I'm actually going to see how this turns out. I suspect this might still be fine. Ideally, when you load your bags, I'm kind of limited on space, but ideally when you load your bags, you're going to want a container to put the bag in to fold over the top and make it a lot easier. See if I do that. I don't have anything currently to facilitate that, so we're going to be doing this a little bit messy here. Harder way. Fold bag open. This can be one of the advantages of doing a larger bag. I'll have more room to actually throw stuff in. And from there we just throw it in. Scrape as much of it out. We want to grab as much product as possible so we can use as much as possible instead of waste. The great thing about the DAP Alex that I've been using is it is washable while it has not cured. Decoden actually comes from a Japanese subculture called Gyaru, which is very much about taking things and just making it as cute as possible. The most hardware stores, you can get it at Ace. You can find some at Dollar Tree. I don't know if it is the same quality. It's Dollar Tree. So yeah, you just Now, if you want to practice and see if this is something you enjoy doing, you can go to Michael's, or I think you might be able to find it online at Joann's, and you can pick up, it's over near the resin usually, but you can pick up some clay whip there. If you want bright, bold colors, you're still going to want to use mica with this stuff because of the amount that it takes to color it when you're doing opaques. You don't need to worry about it so much if you're working with the translucent because it picks up the color very, very, very quickly. So, we've scraped this pretty good. Probably get a little bit more out. As far as tips and advice, there are a couple blogs out there that are also really good. If you spend time on Tumblr, there's a tip and advice blog. Hasn't really posted much since like 2016. But it's out there. Oh, that's decent. Because the stuff I use, I don't need to use mineral spirits to clean this up. I can use warm water and soap, or even better, hot water. That's one of the great things about that, but that's also one of the drawbacks with cases and stuff made with this, is unless it has fully cured, you do not want it in the water at all, or it will disintegrate. Because it's kind of formulated to do that. So, got this stuff all in here. Gotta pull it out. You want to make sure your edges on your piping bag are as flat as possible, otherwise you're going to end up potentially ripping holes in along the seams. And then you're going to need to peel it all into another bag. Once you've got it in, you want to push it all down, as far down as it will go. You want to remove as much air as possible. Air is your enemy if you're wanting to save it for later. Okay, push this down. Now, if you're nervous about air at the tip of the bag, you can remedy that as well. Just put a small snip in the bag at the tip, the smallest tip. Now you got that air out. You can actually push stuff further down. I wouldn't go too far because you're going to want to turn that over. This is how you keep it from drying out after you've snipped that. I use whatever bags I can get a hold of. These ones, this one here I got at Walmart, which is, this was theirs. But I have also grabbed the Wilton bags. And then there was another one that, I'm not sure what brand it was or anything. It was from my mother. She said, hey, since you're doing this thing, I have these things that I just don't use. Why don't you take them off my hands? Sure, Mom. I do like to stick with bags that you can see the colors. This is a really, really pale purple. Like a lavender milk purple even, I'd say. My mom is huge into crafting herself. She does her own really, really cool stuff, but she's never worked up the courage to offer it for sale or anything. She does it one-on-one basis for like Christmas and birthdays and holidays, and got so many grandchildren that last couple of years it's gotten a little rougher. So she's looking for excuses to back down, and it's like, Mom, we appreciate it, but we also understand the amount of work, and nobody's gonna be mad if you don't send a card for every birthday, every holiday, every life happening. And the other thing is, she's brought up potentially trying to do her card making and scrap journaling and stuff as a business, but she thinks she gets nervous about whether or not people would buy it. And there's we are gonna tie this off. Since I spent money on the fancy ties, we're gonna use the fancy ties. You do not need the fancy ties to do this. You can use regular bag ties. You do want it to be the twist ties, though. You don't want to do the little clippy ones like you get off of bread, because they just don't seal well enough. I mean, look at what happens to your bread. Yes, there's a lot of moisture in the bread, and if you're doing this right, you're getting a formula that's gonna be mold and mildew resistant. That's why we use caulk. So, there we go. There's one bag. All done. We're gonna do a few more colors, and then we are gonna do... Are the fancy ones... These? Yes, they are reusable. They're just as reusable as the twist ties are. So, got that end done. Gonna twist this end. Depends on what I'm working on. If I want translucent, my first set of badge holders I did were all using GE Advanced Silicone 2, which is 100% silicone, and I have not had issues with those. And then I switched formula to DAP Alex, which is acrylic latex plus silicone, and I have had a few issues with that, so we're probably switching back to 100% silicone. I've actually picked up another formula we're gonna try. I just wrapped up the last tube I had of the DAP Alex Opaque White, which is just fine. I have not had any issues with that. Yeah, that's all ready. That's how you seal it up. You're gonna do the same thing for sealing it after you've used it. This is how you get the most use out of it. So, thank you to everyone who stopped by. If it's your first time here, be sure to like, subscribe, do all those good things. You can find me on TikTok at Skylar McIver, and you can find me on Twitch at Sky McIver. Thank you for hanging out. Catch you later.